Hello and welcome to the Municipal Measurement Program 2023 training video. The Municipal Measurement Program is delivered by the Recycling Partnership and Re-TRAC Connect. My name is Carla Bergstrom and today I'm going to be showing you how to complete the Recycling Collection Program survey. So 3 new surveys were launched in 2023 for the MMP, the Recycling Collection Program survey, MSW collection, and yard and food waste collection programs. Each of these surveys collects data on the curbside, multifamily, and drop-off recycling programs in your jurisdiction. The recycling collection program specifically survey, this one collects information related to single-family curbside program data. So the number of households served in your community, set-out rate, participation rate, and contamination rate data, collection frequency and ordinance data, recycling tonnage, container data, and material data. So materials accepted as well as problematic materials in your program. The next section of the survey will look at your multifamily program. If you have one, you can enter in households served and tonnage. And if you also have a residential recycling drop-off, you'll be able to enter tonnage data. So within your municipality or within your county, you might only offer one or more of these services. So for each of them, you'll be able to identify if the service is available and who provides it. So the drop-off might be provided by the county and the curbside could be delivered by the municipalities. So you'll see when we start completing these surveys, those options will be available for you to select. Once you start entering the data, you'll be able to mark it as complete and all data gets verified. Data gets verified, the recycling data and the MSW gets verified by the Recycling Partnership, and yard and food waste data gets verified by BioCycle. So you'll see the data will get verified after you've completed it. Also, after you complete the survey, you'll have access to numerous analytical reports. So these reports require tonnage data mostly. So if you have the tonnage data available, you'll be able to calculate or run a report to calculate your diversion rates, pounds per household values for the various programs that you offer, trends. So if you've participated in the MMP for multiple years or year over year, you'll start to be able to print trend reports. You'll be able to see your annual tonnage analysis for each of the programs that you deliver, as well as generate the economic benefits of recycling reports. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I hop into the program and start entering the data into the surveys, I just wanted to show you some resources available to you. So this is our municipalmeasurement.com website. So you can go to here, go to this website to access resources such as the application to apply for the MMP. So if you're not already a member, you can click here and fill out the application. It typically takes about 1 to 3 business days for your application to be reviewed. If there's any questions or issues with your application, we'll definitely reach out and clarify. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's free to apply for all municipalities, counties, and regional agencies. So the MMP was designed by the Recycling Partnership and Re-TRAC Connect. It's really to promote consistent measurement, facilitating comparative analysis, provide program performance analysis, and improve data quality through our data verification process. So how it works really is that municipalities, counties, and regional agencies apply to join. Once they're approved to participate in the MMP, they'll complete the surveys. So I mentioned those 3 surveys that you can complete. And then you'll get access to numerous analytical reports once those surveys are completed. States and counties and regional agencies that want to access the data entered by municipalities or different regions in their jurisdiction can subscribe to the GDMP, which will provide them with access to all of the data that was submitted by the different members in their jurisdiction. So states, counties, and regional governments will encourage participation. They help perform data reviews to make sure that the data is as accurate as possible. And they have access to numerous analytical reports as well. They're able to print reports on individual program performance as well as aggregate reports to see the performance across the whole state. If you want to learn more, you can click on these links at the bottom or up on the top. You can click on the Participate in the MMP tab or the State and Regional Governments tab to find out more about these two programs. There are some resources available to you here. There's the Getting Started guide if you're a state that's looking to subscribe to the MMP, or if you're a user entering data, the MMP user guides are here as well. There's a promo kit available with some different promo items and things you can use to help promote the MMP within your jurisdiction, as well as access to the data verification protocol. The data verification protocol is used by our verifying partners in order to make sure the data is as top quality as possible. So if you want to find out what they're looking for when they're verifying your data, you can go here and check that out. There's also a login button, which will take you to the Re-TRAC website. So the MMP is delivered through Re-TRAC. The login for Re-TRAC is app.re-trac.com. So that's all you need right there. And you'll get to the login page. From there, you can enter in the email address that you used when you applied for the MMP and click Next. It'll then take you to a screen to enter your password. And if you ever forgot your password, you can click a reset password at that point to help reset it. I'm not going to log into the live Re-TRAC right now. I'm just going to go into a test site. So I'm using a test login as well. So mmp@emergetest.ca is my email that I'm using today. And I'm going to go next. And here's where you can see enter your password. And here you can see the forgot password link if you ever need to use that. And I'm just going to go ahead and log in. So once you log in to Re-TRAC, you're going to be taken to your homepage. This is where you see all the programs that you're participating in. You'll see the MMP here as one of the programs. When you click on that program tile, it's going to take you to the Municipal Measurement Program, and it'll show you your members page. So this member would have been set up by us when you applied. So all the information that we needed to set up your member is in the application, which was found on that municipalmeasurement.com website. If you ever need to edit your member information, there is an edit member link here. I'm just using a sample member. And when you're ready to start actually entering data for that member, the member is really your reporting entity. So if you're a city, it'll be the name of your city. If you're a county, it'll be your county and so forth. So clicking on that bar takes you to your workspace. Your workspace is always going to show you your active surveys. So here, when I'm in 2023, I'm seeing my active surveys that are collecting data for 2022. So the MMP always collects data from the previous program year. You'll also see that there's different statuses for these surveys. A completed survey means all the fields have been entered, all the data is there, it's ready to go, I'm done with it, so it's marked complete. A draft survey means it's been started, but maybe I haven't finished it yet. Maybe I need to clarify or verify some information before completing it, so it's draft. A draft survey, you can go in and edit at any time. And new means it hasn't even been started yet. So it's brand new, I haven't filled it out yet. We're going to go into the new survey here for the recycling programs collection, but before I do that, I just want to mention up the top of your workspace, here's where you can see historical data. So if you've been participating in the MMP for multiple years, you can click on the years buttons here and it'll show you all the data that's been entered for previous years. I'm just going to go ahead and click new now, and we're going to enter the recycling collection program survey. So as I mentioned, for 2023, we're collecting data for the 2022 program year. There is some instructions here, or some survey instructions. If you want to reference that, they're up on the top right corner. Here's where you can access those user guides that I mentioned earlier. And so this will take you to the recycling collection program user guide specific to this survey. So a step-by-step guide that'll help you fill it out. The first section in the recycling collection is the single family curbside recycling collection. So you'll notice that this question's already been answered. In fact, a lot of the information in this form has already been filled out. And that's because I had filled out the MMP survey last year. And so what happens is the new year, when it opens, it'll pre-populate with all of the data, well, not all the data, but most of the data from the previous year. So you only really need to update it if it's changed. So the first section is related to single families. So last year in 2021, I provided the service. So that's why it selected that button for me. But if you're new to the MMP and you're just filling it out, then you just want to select the options that apply to you. So if you're a county, um, you might select multiple options here because you might provide some curbside services, but services might also be provided by individual municipalities, or you might have areas of your county that are serviced by open market um, systems. So here you have the option to select more than one. And if you select that it's provided by another government agency, like for example, a municipality or maybe a regional district, then you can enter that information in here. We are only going to ask the follow-up questions if the service is provided by your agency. So if it's provided by someone else or an open market system, or if you don't have services, then we're not going to get all of the follow-up questions. You'll notice it just kind of goes away as soon as I uncheck that box. So I'm going to check it again. So it pre-populated the number of households. So last year, that's the number of households I served. Maybe this year, my program has increased or decreased, so you can change that number to whatever you need. The next question is how services are provided. So it's my public crews, and I'm pretending I'm a municipality, so it's my city crews that deliver the service. But you might also use a franchised hauler, or you might have a publicly selected contractor. If you have more than one of these, or if none of these options really reflect how your services are provided, then use the other field and enter it in, enter your information in here. How do residents receive service? So previously they had to subscribe. Now, for example, for 2022, it's just automatic. Everybody gets it. Or maybe they subscribe, but now this year I'm charging a fee. So you don't have to have the same answer from year to year. You can change your answers, but that pre-populate does help get the data in. If you say that it's provided automatically, you'll have the option to put in a fee. So if you know the fee, if there's a very specific fee that residents are charged for recycling, then you can enter it here. But maybe they don't have separate fees specific to recycling services. So you can use that option, or maybe you don't know the fee. So just select the option that you have. And then maybe I changed my frequency. The next question is related to collection frequency. So in 2021, it was every other week. 2022, we switched to weekly. If you have an ordinance in place, you can say yes or no if not. And the next question is related to the type of recycling program you have. So single stream, or maybe if you collect glass separately, or maybe it's dual stream with fibers and containers collected separately, mixed waste, or other. If none of these options apply, select other, or if there's a combination. As far as the container types go, you can multi-select these, and so go ahead and select as many container types as you need that are used for your program. The next section here is related to materials, and so it's all broken out by category. So it's glass, metal, plastic, and paper. So in the glass section, if you do accept glass, say yes. If you don't accept glass, say no, and then you won't see all the follow-up questions. So if you say yes, then you see all the different types of glass that are available. There's a select all or select none option here. If it helps fill that out, you can select all using the green check. You'll notice some of the questions in the survey are have a little red asterisk beside it. That means they are required. So you will not be able to save your survey unless you enter all of the items with a red asterisk. So you'll notice this next question related to the exceptions doesn't have a red asterisk. So I don't have to enter anything in there. But you'll find out when you save, if you've missed anything with a red asterisk, it'll tell you and take you to those fields to fill out that data. In the metals section, we've got some commonly accepted metals like aluminum cans and steel lids and such. We mark all of those that we collect. If you collect any other metals, say yes, and then you can see all the different other metals that might be available here in your program. And then metal exceptions. Paper is broken out into mixed paper. So mixed paper includes catalogs, magazines, mail, and all these different options here. So if you select all of these, or select the ones, of course, that you collect, and if you say yes to cardboard, then you see the cardboard options here. So maybe you only accept corrugated cardboard, no paper bags, no pizza boxes. And then other paper. So there's a whole list of other items that you can select, paper related, that might be acceptable in your recycling program. Plastics, of course, is a big category. So we've broken that out based on types of plastics. So here we have bottles, jars, and jugs. So if you accept bottles, jars, and jugs, say yes, and then here's the different resins of all the different bottles, bottles, jugs, and jars that you can collect. The next is the accepted plastic containers. So again, all the different types of plastic containers. Maybe this program accepts all PET containers, so I'm going to mark all those. And then the next one is flexible plastic. So if you accept flexible plastic, say yes, and then here's the different types of plastic. Otherwise, say no. Bulky rigid plastic, again, if you say yes, you'll see all the options. Otherwise, say no. And then here's all of the other types of plastic. So if you say yes, here's all the different other plastics that you can select. And then plastic exceptions. Next is your annual recycling education and outreach budget. So maybe your budget increased this year. Maybe you're able to increase hours, so you got a half-time employee instead of a 0.3. And then we get into recycling rates. So set-out rates, participation rates, and contamination rates. So here, if you know your set-out rate, say yes. So in the previous year, I knew it. So it pre-populated yes, but the rates might change from year to year. So if you notice, it didn't actually populate in the rates, the set-out rates or participation rates or contamination rates. So I would have to put that in. I'm going to say 75 set-out rate, or 85, sorry, 75 participation rate, and contamination rate is 20%. Last time I filled this out, I had some, I engaged in some contamination control activities. So select any of these that apply. Maybe I'm no longer doing OOPS cards, I'm just doing inspections. And then lastly is the problematic materials. So in the previous MMP, we just had a free text field where you could type in anything related to problematic materials in your recycling stream. Here in the new MMP, in the new survey for 2023, we've created a structured list of standardized materials that are problematic in recycling programs. So just reading this, trash in recycling carts really falls into this category of household trash. So instead of just keeping it at other, I'm going to select household trash and then deselect other, because that sort of represented what I'm looking for. If I wanted to add this note that, you know, the reason why this might be happening is because you have a pay-as-you-throw program, you can definitely enter that at the end of the survey where you want to enter additional information. But what we want to do is try and use the structured lists as much as possible, instead of just typing free text into the other, just to create a better database. And the problematic materials are really important, especially at a state level, where they want to see across the whole state the different problematic materials for various programs. So that's a really good one to have, nice structured list for. Next is the tonnage. So you can enter your tonnage if you have it. If you don't have it, say no. If it says yes here because I'd entered it in 2021. So if I want to see more about the tonnage data that was entered in 2021, I can click on this red link. And that's going to open up a little screen where it's going to show me for 2021 the numbers that I entered. I could even go back and see previous years if I wanted to. So here I can see the households served in 2021, the tonnage, and the pounds per household calculation. So I'm going to say I've got 82 tons, put a number in there, and then here you can enter any other relevant information related to your recycling program. The next section is multifamily. If I provided a multifamily, so if my city provided those services, I would select the first option, and then I would be asked all the questions. So how many households are served and all the different, things that we just sort of saw in the curbside survey. I'm not going to mark that. I'm going to say that the multifamily is provided by an open market system. So multifamily households have to contract directly with haulers. The city has no oversight into multifamily collection. And the last section is the residential drop-off. So I might have a drop-off in my community that my residents can use, but I don't operate it. So it's not run by the city. Maybe it's run by another agency. So maybe the county runs the drop-off. So I would just enter in the name of the agency. So it's the county in this example that would run that service. If I did run it, of course, I could put in my tonnage. Final destination, now you'll notice none of these are required, but it's good information if you have it to know where these materials end up. So you can enter in the facility name, address, county, and state that these materials are sent to. If there's multiple final destinations, you can use the add button to add more rows, or over to the right, use the remove button to remove rows. This last question is related to your top challenges, and this is required. And again, this information at a state level would be really important. So knowing where your challenges are going to help solve problems with recycling programs in your state. So just think of the top 3 things. So we only want 3 here. If you tried to enter 4, it's going to say, hey, only 3. So enter the items that apply to you. And then at the bottom, there'll be a save button. Just going to uncheck this just for a moment because I want to show you what happens when you save a survey and you don't enter all the items with a red asterisk. So you'll notice this, this little question in the back has a red asterisk. So it said, hey, I have an error. So I can find and fix my errors. When I click confirm, it's going to take me to the question that I need to answer. As soon as I go and enter something in there, when I click save, now it says, hey, nice work, I'm done. Now I have 2 options. I can save it as a draft, which means that I can come back later and edit it. So maybe I needed to confirm some information. I'm not ready to complete it. I can save it as a draft, or I can mark it as complete. When you mark a survey complete, you can no longer make changes. So it locks the response and it submits the survey to the program. So basically at this point, your data verifiers, Recycling Partnership and BioCycle, get notified that your survey is complete and they can go ahead and start verifying it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark complete. It takes me back to my workspace where now I can see my 3 surveys. So I'm done my yard waste, I'm done my recycling, and my MSW is still in draft. If I were to open the recycling one again, I can just click on the completed, and here you can see that it's locked. And if you need to make any edits to it, reach out to the MMP program managers. So the email, if you need to contact us, if you have any issues, you need us to unlock a survey, or you just have questions about the program, here's our email right here at the bottom. So you can email mmp@re-trac.com right there. I'm going to go back to the workspaces. So thank you. This is the end of our recycling collection program training session. Don't forget, once you've completed all your surveys, you have access to analytical reports, so you can come up here and generate all the different reports that we talked about in the intro section. So thank you so much for joining today, and good luck with your surveys.